Fly pie.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Welcome to episode 84 of the Fly Route Podcast. I am your guy, aka Tony Playboy, aka Didn't Write Back, aka Game Ball Tony. And I'm chilling here with the boys. Y'all got any AKAs for yourselves today? Nobody?
Man,
Ain't nobody?
I got an AKA.
All right.
I got an AKA. First, again, not a baseball podcast, but AKA Aaron Judge, 57 home runs and counting. And Justin Jefferson, week 1 gritty.
Hey, listen, man, I'm rocking with the dumbass mac and cheese, aka
y'all need
no coordinator needed. I'm gonna say that with a grain of salt this week.
Just one grain?
Yeah, just a grain of salt. Because it's early in the season. We typically lose to Miami in Miami anyway, so I ain't pressed. We started off same way last season and ended up making it to the playoffs. So
Okay.
Grain of salt.
Grain of salt. I get it.
Hey, Cliff, aka Cowboys top 10 in the draft, looking ahead. I ain't on the same wave as Tio. It's early and it ain't looking good. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, the Q's hurt. He already didn't look good. Cooper Rush. We're gonna keep going, man.
AKA only team without a touchdown.
Cooper Rush. He was the magic man in Minnesota last year.
Hey, look, AKA only team without a touchdown.
how you go from number one scoring offense last season to being the only team that don't get in the box, man? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's difficult. That is facts. That is difficult.
You tried to do that.
All right, y'all. Look, today we're going to get into the hottest news around the NBA and NFL, our players of the week from week 1, previewing week 2, and giving you our games of the week and the best bets, our week 1 overreaction power rankings, and giving a big Ballers Bouquet to Shaq Leonard of the Indianapolis Colts.
The Fly Route Pod.
All right, look, let's start off with the news because week 1, kickers just could not kick like they used to. It was bad. And of all the kickers that missed many clutch field goals, only one of them got cut. Rodrigo Blankenship for the Indianapolis Colts for missing his 42-yard game winner. It's kind of crazy that he is the only one that got cut. Seems like a massive overreaction for the Colts starting off the season in an embarrassing fashion and looking for a scapegoat. I feel like that one comes back to bite you in the ass 10 out of 10 times. Injuries also went crazy in week 1. We got Dak out with hand surgery. TJ Watt has a torn pec of sorts, out for like 6 weeks, possibly. Jamal Adams, serious knee/quad injury. Eagles pass rusher Derek Barnett tore his ACL. Elijah Mitchell sprained his MCL. And he's on IR, by the way. Like, he's going to be gone for at least 4 weeks. Chris Godwin strained his hamstring and could miss some time in his first game back after tearing his ACL. Najee left game 1 with a foot injury, but appears to be okay and should play in week 2. Keenan Allen hurt his hamstring, doubtful for tomorrow night. Chiefs first-round cornerback on IR with the hamstring injury. That's Trent McDuffie. And Ravens cornerback Kyle Fuller tore his ACL as well. And last but not least, even though we wrote off Geno Smith, he did not write back. All right? And that was hard. That was the hardest bar all weekend. So let's get into the big news that happened in the NBA, y'all. Y'all heard about this Robert Sarver thing? This Phoenix Suns owner. That was wild. Look, that was wild. I was shocked to hear about it because if y'all remember last season, they're like, we're going to investigate. And they came back and they investigated. And they said in the past like decade plus, he consistently used the N-word, discriminated against female employees, and inappropriately touched male employees. And they were like, you know what? 1 year suspension, $10 million fine. Right? Yeah.
Adam Silver need to let his nuts hang, bro. I'm sick of it. I don't know what else to say. Honestly, at this point, he talking about he don't have no power over that. So, we just gonna openly allow, owners to be out here using racial slurs, and it ain't even like he black. So if he was black, it would have been like, okay, well, he black. But
he said if black people could say it, so could he. No, that's literally what he said. Like, there was a period in which they played the Warriors, and he walked up to a coach and was like, why can ex-Warriors players say nigga, 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 nigga? Yes, 5 times. Yes, that is a quote. And the coach was like, you can't say that. He said, what? I can't say nigga, nigga, nigga? And the NBA has witnesses to this. It is in their official report.
That's wild.
And they're like, but we can't do nothing about it. We made Donald Sterling sell a team for doing something kind of similar, but we ain't gonna do nothing about it. Hands are tied.
Yeah, if it had been recorded, they for sure would have made him sell the team, but
they said they had videos, emails, text messages, and witnesses. What are those?
They said he emailed out porn.
Bro,
like the front office.
Yo,
like a bunch of shit, bro.
What else do you need?
Unless it gets leaked to the public, they're clearly not going to do anything because they only care if we see it. And that's the truth of it. They only care if we see it. And as long as we don't see it and it's just like in their report, they ain't really going to do much about it. I feel like that's clearly the case.
Something wild that I posted a while ago was this.
Yo!
That's how Donald Sterling see us, bro. That's
chill, bro.
Bro, Donald Sterling was also wild, and this guy is not much different. Clearly,
it's over the top. Like at some point, it got to stop because when you look at, especially nowadays, where we're all about equality and inclusion and things like that, and it's still like, okay, at this point, there still ain't no black owners, and then you got. It starts at the top, and then you got the people at the top that's, like you say, nigga, 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 that trickles down. And
they said it trickled down in the organization, but was like, most of those guys have left and or been like fired or whatever, so we ain't got to worry about that. I doubt that so much. Yeah. I doubt that so much. Like, yo, it's crazy that they have a decade worth of proof and they're like $10 million fine. Do y'all know how small $10 million is to a billionaire?
He probably made that today.
Yo, like if you make $100,000 a year, finding you $1,000 is the equivalent of finding a billionaire $10 million.
He paid that deal on the spot and kept it moving.
Yeah. He made that today.
He still get all the dividends from the team this year, so he just gonna recoup that shit while he's suspended.
He said
that's basically on paid leave for a year.
And guess what he's doing? Sitting on the island that he got somewhere, feet up, watching the game. He don't give a damn.
Man, that's just wild. Like he said nigga during a free agent recruitment meeting, and the player was like, what? And I can't tell you how bad I want to know who this player is. I want to know. I believe there could be no way they went to the Suns, but if you desperate and they know what the team's calling your name, that would be wild.
Speaking of, I don't want to misspeak, but have we seen any Suns players like really come out and say anything like they weren't going to play or anything like that? It's a little wild.
Dude, they said there was proof of him saying it in a team exercise meeting to the players because he's like, why can't I say it? That player just said it. And the players were clearly not happy. Shit just kept rolling, never leaked out to the press, stayed in silence. All right, look.
All I'm gonna say is, whoever heard that on the Suns, y'all a bunch of bitches. That's all. Y'all a bunch of bitches. If y'all out here letting him say that to y'all, that's all.
They get blackballed from the league so fast.
That's how it works, man. That's why they don't say that. That's why they can't. They all. It all starts at the top, and you ain't gonna get rid of them all. It's just like racism still in the world. Racism gonna be in the league. Like there's gonna be some owners and even coaches that look at black players is just like we said, nigga player. Like, you know, the sad part about it is is how they look at it. And some of them, obviously not all of them, but they are those ones. And, you know, it even goes back to, you know, just getting into Gruden. Like, I mean, his situation. Like, and the thing is,
or the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders owner, like it's all intertwined. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something up, you know, to them. But it's just it's something that the reason why it'll never get solved until something really big happens is because they're all in on it. They all know the business. They all know how it's been going because those emails was from years ago and they just coming out all of a sudden. Like that stuff's there. It's just they're making a conscious decision whether to expose it or not.
And the reason why it ain't as big too, they got hush money. And at the end of the day, it's like, listen, we know majority of our league is black players. So I mean, we gonna use the word as we please, and we just gonna continue to profit off of them. But at the end of the day, like that's sad, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's also wild because I mean there are players like OJ Mayo and Tyreek Evans, who get longer suspensions for violating the substance abuse policy than you do for like a decade plus of like racism, sexism, etc.
Yeah. Look at Josh Gordon. Could have had a great career.
Yo, that's facts. That's facts. I think that's a very good place to put it. So that was your tee off. The first one of the season, too.
Ooh, spill that tea, sis. Spill that tea, sis.
Yo, all right, let's keep it moving right into the RPO, where we're going to talk about some of the hottest sports news in the NFL and let you know whether we are going to run with them or pass on them. T.O., you coming up first. The Packers were extremely overrated coming into the season, considering their O-line and wide receiver trouble. Run or pass?
Man, that's a run. I don't even think that's any kind of questions. And honestly, the only reason they were that overrated is because, you know, everybody's saying that bad man number 12, right? But at the end of the day, I did have huge concerns, you know, coming into the season for him due to the fact that Agent 17 gone. That's a lot of targets that we don't know where they're going. You got Christian Watson running wide the hell open down the field, dropping the ball.
Oh, that was
crazy.
That was bad.
I hope we do it again.
Change the whole game.
So listen to these wild stats, just in case you didn't know how bad of a day it was in the office for him. So he was 22 for 34. You know, not bad. However, he only had 195 yards, no touchdowns, threw an interception, had a QBR of 16.1, and he was sacked 4 times.
Bro.
Oof.
Harrison Smith was on that ass.
Bro.
That's a bad day in the office.
It was really bad. The only thing I give him is that when you're a quarterback like he is, obviously Devontae Adams is the biggest piece you're missing. But when you're missing both your starting tackles and your quote unquote number one in Lazard week 1, and you're out there with a bunch of pups, that I think that changes a lot. I think, you know, you get those guys back to protect them. I think he can get the ball to guys. I mean, it should have been a touch. The game should have been totally different. The game should have been totally different. If Christian Watson catches that touchdown, the game is totally different. It's a totally different game. The ebbs and flow. I mean, that was what they first drive, wasn't it? Like
first play from scrimmage.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was a touchdown. He catches that.
He did that to himself, though.
He dropped it. I mean, he dropped it.
No, I'm saying like Aaron Rodgers. If he would have just like locked in, signing extensions, doing whatever he got to do to try to win, Devontae Adams wouldn't have left. Like most of the reason that he wanted to leave was because uncertainty with.
They offered him more money.
They offered him more money.
He chose to leave. He chucked them out. He said
because he don't know if Rodgers was going to play or not.
After Rodgers signed, because one like I appreciate you play. He said the art in the background is raw as fuck. We got culture over here, my guy. Appreciate you.
Though.
Hey, one thing is though, they tagged Devontae before, and Devontae said, "Do not tag me."
Right.
He told them explicitly, "Do not tag me." and they tagged him anyway to get A-Rod stuff finished. And then after A-Rod stuff was finished, they offered him more money than the Raiders did. But I think he was done once they tagged him after he said, "Do not tag me."
Yeah.
And they were like, "We
You
gonna
think
tag
you think
till we get the
Rodgers is a
A-Rod
weirdo?
stuff."
And that's really why you left?
Tired being held hostage by that man.
I think he also was just like, I want to be closer to my family. Getting people to Green Bay is hard because it's Green Bay.
Cold as hell. Don't go to Green Bay.
Don't want to go there. He's like, now my family can come to like all the games. It's a quick flight because he from Oakland. Like, well, he from the Bay. I won't say he's from Oakland, but he's from the Bay. So like the Raiders were his childhood team. So let's keep this one moving. We got Cliff coming back up next. Dak was originally out for 6 to 8 weeks with Cooper Rush as the backup, but Jerry Jones is refusing to put Dak on IR, saying he could come back in as little as 4 weeks. Is Jerry rushing Dak a terrible move for the Cowboys? Run or pass?
Run, read option, give read, go. Down. It's a terrible idea. It's your thumb, like on your throwing hand. How the velocity he had on the velocity that CD and Dalton was saying he had in camp that I didn't see on Sunday night. If that was there with the thumb before the thumb, and you want to come back after that type of injury, Russ was out for a minute. I mean, his was to his pointer finger, I believe, but he was out for a minute. I mean, that's your grip on the ball. That's throwing it. That's getting hit while getting sacked. Holding the ball. Like that is a problem, and I don't think there's a need to rush him back. I think Jerry is using that as escape to try to make it seem like he's not trying to fold, and he's just been. He emphasizes so much. This team's good. We're good. There's no way you believe that, bro. There's no way. He's not an idiot. He don't make the best moves all the time, but he's not an idiot. He knows that team is not as good, so he's gonna act like I'm gonna try to win these games because we know Coop ain't gonna get your job done. Who he throw the game winner to in Minnesota last year? He ain't there.
Oh yeah,
he ain't there. CeeDee Lamb, man, I still got high hopes for him.
Hey.
But that week 1 outing, the biggest thing is that you don't play your starters. Your starters get no burn in the preseason, and you rush them out there and say, go play against Tom Brady and the Bucs and get a dub. Yeah, bro. When you a worse team, you lost several guys up front. Peters didn't even play. He was in street clothes.
I mean, yeah, he just got there, and he's 40 years old.
Oh, I know. I mean, I was hoping he would play. I mean,
I told you he was going to be on that practice squad for a minute. He did not believe
it's sad. It's sad when
he
you
needed to be out
on
there.
the
That's why I was
field.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so
lineman.
just encompassing all that, Jerry is covering up. He tried to go, like I said earlier, aka top 10 pick, top 10 draft pick. He knows his draft is a pretty solid draft, and I've heard people say quarterback. That's a long conversation. I can't agree with it. First off, you pay the man too much money. You can't. You're.
I don't know who's taking that deal off him.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody doing this.
The Lions.
Hey,
they might.
Don't do that to my
Texas.
man. Don't do that to my man.
3 hours down in Houston. Houston right there.
I can't be okay with it. I know it's all a scheme. It's all a scheme. He just trying to show save face, like he's trying to save the season. But we know.
We got Cowboy haters on this podcast, but Cliff is a Cowboys fan telling y'all it's over. Wrap it up. He said, wrap it up. Sam. Nathaniel Hackett choosing to kick the field goal on 4th and 5 cost the Broncos the game. Run or pass?
Run. I mean, they came out and said they should have gone for it. 64-yard field goal. That's like one of the longest field goals in NFL history. The record's 66, and you just went and traded for a franchise quarterback playing against his former team. Why wouldn't you give him the opportunity to have the ball in his hands, especially week 1? I feel like you're trying to get the team behind you and show that you believe in the offense. So I feel like just from a morale standpoint, it's not a good look either, even if it were strategic, which I don't think it's not. Brandon McManus is a good kicker, but 64 yards, like I said, it's one of the longest that would have been one of the longest field goals in the history of the NFL. And you got a franchise quarterback who you get, like T.O. said, all that money to. So 4th and 5, I think I'd trust him to make a throw.
He's been there countless times and shown that he can get the job done. And that's why you go get a guy like Russ. You pay him that money. And like you said, I feel like that would definitely been a big morale boost for them because they struggled all night. So just to get in the final moments and, okay, boom, we get the 4th and 5. We pretty much finna still deliver this win at this point. But
we're going to let Cliff answer this question first, all right? How many wins do you think the Cowboys get if we assume Dak is back at like week 6 or 7? So that's about what? 5 or 6 games he actually misses because that's way more reasonable. How many wins you get in them 5 to 6 weeks?
So that's he playing 10 games? About 10?
Yeah, but I think he'll play.
You say overall though, how many we gonna get? I think we could steal 6 because of our strength of schedule, but because we do have players, I think highly of our defense, but our defense is going to be on the field a lot because our offense can score. So it's going to look like our defense is ass, but in reality, our defense. I mean, look at what we did against Tom Brady. We played well. You can't score any points. I mean,
y'all gonna beat the Bengals and Commanders in the next 2 to 3 weeks because you got the Bengals. They're gonna wash y'all.
We're not beating the Bengals.
They're gonna wash y'all, but they gonna get the Giants, Commanders the next 2 weeks. You gonna take any of those?
Unless Carson Wentz gives us one, I don't think so.
Oh, so you think you start the season 0-4?
If Saquon is healthy, we're in trouble. Carson, because like I said, you can't. The defense is going to be on the field so much. If I'm going to schedule off the top of my head, I think 6 games is a max.
Ooh.
Max.
Cliff, y'all need to go rescue Kadarius Toney from the Giants, man.
No, he don't want. Jerry don't want to rescue this season. Y'all can't tell by the moves he ain't made. He ain't trying to rescue this season.
Hey, he probably came into the season knowing y'all weren't going to do well. Honestly,
he already knew it was up. Hey, Sean Payton, 2020.
He said 1 + 1 got to equal 3. When he said 1 + 1 got to equal 3, he knew y'all was cheeks. That's all I'm saying. All right, look, Trayvon nice though. I feel like Trayvon got way too much much disrespect for the amount of yards he gave up because people thought Marshawn Lattimore had an amazing season. He gave up just as many yards. Granted, way tougher competition, but Trayvon nice. I really do still believe Trayvon nice. Now, look, we got one for you since we at you right now, Cliff. Let's see. The blindside block that Lenny put on Micah Parsons should be eliminated from the game, a la Von Miller. Runner pass.
I gotta pass on that. It's a chip block. Like it's not a blindside block. He's right in front of you. He's just you're already engaged in a block. First off, Micah didn't get bitched either. He was already roasting that tackle, and he came and helped him and act like he did something. So let's get that straight first off.
I mean, it's just
it's a chip. It's a chip block. It's a chip block. If you double team somebody and you win, you can be like, oh yeah, I dominated you. No, it's a double team. It's not 1-on-1. It's 2-on-1. You chipped him while he was already fully engaged with a whole left tackle that he was roasting all day, and then you feel like you did something because you chipped him. I don't think it should be eliminated from the game because I think that's a big deal. You chip somebody getting out out of the check down. Like I think that's football. Like you don't take that out. But I think those cut blocks are a problem. Hence Thibodeau and I know some other guys have been affected by it. But those are scary. But those cut. It was. I don't think he.
It's illegal now, I believe.
No,
I don't think it. No, it's not.
Trayvon Thibodeau got hit with one in preseason.
In the preseason, no
fucked up his
flag.
knee.
It's allowed, That's what worries me about the cut blocks. Like I think those are more. I think those should be eliminated before a chip block out of the backfield, in my opinion.
Facts, I'm with it. We got one last one. Actually, I'm gonna save this last one because it's really just Bears fandom, and I'm trying to talk some shit, and I'm gonna do it later on. If I'm just being honest, let's keep it moving for time. Let's keep it moving for time's sake. We are gonna move into our Player of the Week segment.
The Fly Route Pod.
We got Sam with the offense, Tio with the defense, and Cliff with the special teams. Let's start with the offense. That's what everybody likes to see. Sam, who is your offensive player of the week from week one?
Man, this was tough. It was really between two people for me. We had a lot of great football to start week one, so I just want to say that. There are a lot of people that could have been in the conversation, but it was really between two. And I was tempted to go one way because my fantasy football ties, but I ended up thinking I have to give my offensive MVP of the week to Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. The questions of is he going to be okay without Tyreek Hill, who his target's going to be, all that looks pretty stupid in hindsight, even though it's only week one. But 44 points, week one, 6 touchdowns. Bro looked absolutely like the MVP candidate we've seen the last couple of years. But it was really between him and Justin Jefferson for me, who also had an absolutely insane day. 9 catches, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of that was in the first half. I feel like he had like 120 in the first half.
Roasted.
He had more yards in the first half than any receiver that day had in a complete game. That I was really torn. I picked Justin Jefferson third in one of my fantasy leagues, have him paired with Kirk Cousins. So I have a rooting interest in that Vikings offense, but I had to give it to Mahomes.
Hey, I used Justin Jefferson to beat your ass this week at Alpha.
Yeah.
Boy, Stan scored 120 and lost by 40 points. It was crazy. Yeah, bro. Washington went nuts. I murdered this dude. Tio, you got the defense. Who was your defensive player of the week?
Honestly, this is a clear cut. Like, I don't even think this was a debate here. So we got Minka. Man had 14 tackles, a pick 6, and he also blocked the PAT that sent the game to overtime. But also a fun fact for him as well was this was also his first player of the week of his career. So he definitely had a huge impact in the Steelers' win, obviously. I had 160.
Dang.
Yeah, someone can read it out loud because the audio-only audiences, if you want to.
Oh, okay. It says, I had 160 points with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I had Saquon, Mixon, Joe Mixon, Justin Jefferson, and they all went crazy.
Did I have Saquon on you too, Sam?
I feel like you had Lamar, Saquon, and Justin Jefferson.
Bro, what?
That's a recipe for L and other than
yeah. And my team was not bad at all. Put up a nice 125 and got blown out, bro.
Those the worst, man. Those the worst. The ones you're supposed to win.
You could play anybody else in the league and win, but you had to play this dude.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro.
All right, Cliff, special teams player of the week. This is interesting because people don't really give special teams a lot of love. Who'd you have?
We didn't have any kick returns for touchdowns, so nothing really exciting. But we had a rook hit a game winner in Cleveland, Cade York, with the 58-yarder. I mean, that's a big deal in my opinion. Against the Panthers, Baker's old team, and everything. So I think he deserves special teams player of the week.
I mean, the way kickers were missing game-winning field goals.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he a rook too. So I'm saying like that's almost 60 yards. That's different. So that's different.
I was shocking to see Evan McPherson out there missing like that. I'm like,
but they had like a backup snapper and a backup holder. Like it was like, yeah, it was tough. He ain't had no help.
How your snapper and your holder get hurt? Where they at?
Bro.
What they doing in practice?
They got hit with Aaron Donald's helmet. That was probably.
Yo,
Oh man.
all right.
Hey Cliff, I'm long snapper, and
We know what they was doing there in practice.
Yeah, all practice they want to do
Playing games, kicking games.
They was doing their own stuff, going to
Come
work
on,
out. They wouldn't even.
They practice for 30 minutes and they period over. Once special teams period over, they don't do nothing. Come on, man.
All right.
Specialists.
Okay, let's get into the preview for week 2, right? We got, first off, we like to start with the game of the week. So I want to know what y'all got right now as your game of the week. Who we start with last week?
I think I started last week.
All right, then we're going to start with Cliff, because usually the first person gets the best crack at the obvious game. So, Cliff, what's your game of the week?
It was a little tough this week. I think I probably gotta go. I'm kind of there's like three options I got, but I'm gonna go with the Eagles and Vikings.
That's an interesting one. That's a low-key one, too.
It is. I think this is a perfect game to see if Jalen Hurts is really about that. This is a perfect game to test that Eagles defense. I think, and it's on Monday night. I mean, I think it's gonna be a hell of a game. I'm excited to see Justin Jefferson go off. I got him in one of my fantasy leagues too. He definitely sealed the deal with the dub this week. But yeah, I'm excited to see the Eagles take a L. I'm excited to see the Eagles take a L, because I know we ain't winning it. And, they played the Lions and everybody like, oh, they're so good.
No, bro.
They played Detroit.
They almost got packed out.
They almost,
and they only won by 3.
Yeah, and they were
man.
up by 20. So I think that game is actually an indict on the Eagles more than it is a win, a big win for them. I think that game was an indict on the Eagles.
I think this one's going to be a huge eye opener and really going to see what they about.
Yo, the Eagles are like 2-point favorites too. So yeah, it's in my 5 flies. We're gonna move down to TO. What's your game of the week?
Man, so me, obviously I had the Eagles and Vikings, which is I had that on there. Obvious game is Chargers and Chiefs as well for me. But if I gotta go anywhere else, I'm gonna go Titans and Bills. And I'm not sure if we're gonna get the same outcome as last year.
No, the Bills are gonna pack them boys up.
Yeah. So
did the Titans lose to who did the Titans lose to?
The Giants?
Giants, yeah. They getting packed up, right? They lost to the Giants. Saquon went crazy, and if Saquon went crazy, I agree, but Josh Allen might run for like 80.
I don't know who guarding them receivers either.
Yeah, I mean, it's just honestly their scheme, their play calling is just that shit is ridiculous. How they scheme people open, it don't even make no sense. Like play calling is great, I'm not gonna lie. But then for me, Bucks Saints, just getting into that division rivalry in the NFC South, we seen the Saints make that miraculous comeback against. Well, I ain't gonna say miraculous because the Falcons known for that. They known for giving up that ass, but yeah, the Saints made that comeback last week. And that boy said, "I'm him" is back. So, we gonna see if it's gonna be fun to watch because you got obviously we know Marshawn gonna lock up Mike Evans, but who gonna guard Julio? You know what I'm saying? Julio
you said it's just a given.
Oh, it's
Mike Evans getting packed up.
Oh, we know how Tom act when he played the Saints. He looked like a totally different Q.
He do.
Totally different Q.
He do.
That's a fact. He said the Titans defense is so whack, bro. Like it's a boom or bust.
Yeah,
that's definitely
I don't believe in them. Especially they lost. Was it Harold Landry, the pass rusher? Yeah, after they lost him, bro, that's a big.
That hurts. That's huge.
That corner pretty much still a rookie because he got hurt last year.
Caleb
Farley,
yeah.
I mean, we're gonna see
what
you doing. He got to go out there and guard Stephon. He finna get
you ain't guarding that.
It's a long day at the office, my guy. It's a long day at the office.
All right, Sam, what's your game of the week?
So I agree with the games that have been discussed, but I'm going to go in a different direction, and I'm going to say Ravens-Dolphins is a game I'm really looking forward to. Dolphins defense looked pretty crazy this past week, and the Ravens offense.
Don't do that.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. At least I'm giving.
At least he ain't say the Patriots' offense looked really bad.
Right. I'm trying to give them
That's really
credit.
what it was. Look, that's really what it was.
The Ravens started out slow against the Jets. The first half of that game was terrible, and then they turned it on. Lamar started throwing touchdowns like deep balls.
No look, too. No look.
Yep. I'm excited to see how the Dolphins defense shapes up against Lamar and the Ravens offense. And I'm excited to see if Tua can look a little bit better because, Dolphins fans should be excited about a good win to start the season, but I wouldn't be too excited about how the quarterback looked, which is, we've talked about it plenty on this pod. I don't think we have a ton of.
Very mean where Tyreek was out like 15, 20 yards, and he was like 5+ short.
Hey, listen, I like the way we started, considering the fact that we gave up a defensive touchdown with the strip sack touchdown. We only gave up 13 points to that offense.
And it was really one play to Jalen Waddle.
Exactly.
That was
really down at that.
Yeah.
On fourth down.
He took it most of the way himself.
Yeah, dude ran like 3/4 of the field.
ATL, man, I know, solid defense, offense don't show up to the party. Ain't much of a party, my guy. Ain't much of a party, my guy.
Yeah, you can't expect them to get a stop, all game. So at some point, they're going to break at some point with that kind of speed. So end of the day, I'm satisfied with the 13 points. Obviously, we gave up the defensive touchdown. But you're going to see.
Right. So for me, with all the ones that we picked, T.O. got like 3 of them, bro. He got like all of mine in a row. Back. But I'm going to go with Cardinals versus Raiders. Both of these teams came off a disappointing week 1 loss, right? And that was important. But the Cardinals got embarrassed. Now, if the Cardinals don't come out hard after getting embarrassed by the Chiefs, like I thought it was going to be a shootout. Only one person brought their gun. It was bad. If they don't come out hard, I think until we see D-Hop, you shouldn't have no faith in this team. The Raiders lost a close one against a really good team. I expect them to be at home.
Carr sold that game.
He did. He threw a pick. But I expect him to come out and really, look a lot better at the end of this week.
I agree.
Okay, hold on, bro. Chill.
I knew you were gonna get triggered. I knew
it. Like the Bears, because the
Bears. We got drug in this though.
Hey, because y'all trash, bro. Y'all look bad.
Wow.
We scored touchdowns.
Y'all
scored
multiple
touchdowns.
Y'all played in a monsoon.
And somehow made it happen in the monsoon. All right? We made it happen in the monsoon.
Respect.
Turned the field into a slip and slide when we were done. Leave us alone, bro. Leave us alone.
I agree with both of y'all, though.
Keith is in the chat. Devontae Adams is going to torture him. Oh, he's a Bears fan saying this. Then have some faith in us, bro. We gonna look better this year. I'm not saying we're gonna be world beaters. Oh, he talking about last year Bears. They did kind of look like last year's Bears. That's rough. Your offensive line was real bad.
Yeah.
And Mac Jones could not move like he was Justin Fields, so he was getting.
Listen, early in the game, Mac was taking command of the offense, moving people around, switching the protection and everything. We was looking good. We go down, could have been a PI on Devontae Parker potentially, but I mean, we had some flashes, but we're gonna have to do something.
All right, Keith, I'm just saying, that 4 win, even if you need to bump it up to 5 because you're a little scared, I'm still here, my guy. I'm still
Keith's
here.
About to get packed down on that day.
Yeah. Also, Keith had to make sure he said there's a mighty kindergarten team, and he was talking about the Cardinals because he's been on that all day. He also said you capping about Mac Jones commanded the offense.
He was though.
Matt Patricia commanded that offense.
Listen, he won't commanding nothing. Matt Patricia was commanding the L. No success.
Oh man. All right. He said we're gonna be a 7-8. I had us at 6, and I would think there's possibly 7 now because I didn't expect us to win that 49ers game. So I'm not mad at that at all. At the Bears being a 7-8 win team, but we could be a lot better. Also, yeah, fuck Tony Correnti. Facts. He talking about that Steelers game. I would never forget that man's name. Fuck Tony Correnti till the casket drop. All right. Yo, why Keith still talking shit about the Bears on Madden, bro? Just run me my bread. Look, we gonna move it to the 5 fly, right? Last week we went 3-2. We won on San Francisco versus Chicago, had the dogs. Green Bay versus Minnesota, because I told y'all they weren't like that. Tampa Bay versus Dallas. We lost on Philly versus Detroit because their line was 4 and Philly won by 3, giving up a 20-point lead. I tell you, I was sitting on the couch fuming when I seen that. Fuming. We also lost on Kansas City, Arizona, but that's because, boy, they was trash. They was trash. I had way too much faith in their offense.
That Arizona team that I said come out hot came out soft as hell, and you missing your guy. It's gonna be a rough season for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I agree.
Or they're flipping the script and they're about to end it strong.
I believe it when I see it. All right, this week's 5 fly. I got 5 games for y'all that I like the spreads on. You can make them a parlay. You can do them one at a time. See what's up. The first one I'm going with is New England versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 1-point dog at home, which I cannot believe considering how bad the Patriots looked last week. Yes, TJ Watt is gone, but the rest of that Steelers defense is still great. We saw what Minka Fitzpatrick did. Cam Hayward is still there. And the combination of those two things and Mac Jones not being all that mobile with the way the offensive line is right now, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers as a 1-point dog. 2, Tampa Bay versus the Saints. The Saints are 2.5-point dogs at home as well. Tampa's O-line did not look good against the Cowboys. And really, who was on that line for the Cowboys besides Micah Parsons that's like that?
Demarcus Lawrence could be a conversation. I mean, he ain't Micah Parsons. He ain't Micah Parsons, but Demarcus Lawrence, he's there.
Yeah. So, like, I'm with you on that. So I like that one a lot. Keith agrees the Saints are walking them. The Saints offense looked prolific early against Atlanta, and then they kind of started messing up. Bucks other way around. Bad, then good.
Fourth quarter was crazy, bro. They just scored at will. Yeah. All of a sudden, after struggling all day, they were like,
Atlanta.
"Oh, here."
Atlanta.
They did that classic Atlanta stuff. I also just feel like the Saints historically get the better of the Bucks, especially even with Tom Brady, especially during the regular season. And Chris Godwin might not play because he hurt his hamstring. Third game, Niners versus the Seahawks. Right? The Seahawks are 10-point dogs after last week. 10-point dogs against the Niners that lost to the Bears, who were 7-point dogs against the Niners. And George Kittle is still hurt, has not practiced all week. It may not play. At this point, I think Seattle's offense is better than we think. I also think that the Niners' offense isn't as good as we think. They lost Elijah Mitchell. Trey Lance has struggled a little bit. No George Kittle. I like the spread, especially at a double-digit spread like this game. The third one, and I keep taking the Bears, and I do not like to take the Bears because I don't like betting on my own team. But the Bears are also 10-point dogs in Green Bay against the Packers. I think that spread is ridiculous for how bad the Packers looked last week. This is another situation where the Bears don't have to be amazing. Yo, yeah. Snoozy said, how are the Bears 10-point underdogs against the Packers too? We cover for sure. I like that. Like, we don't have to be amazing to not lose by 10. And that's really it. these lines are just way too big. People are really just overreacting and counting out the Bears. Keith thinks the Packers are going to walk us, but he also thought the Niners would too, probably. So I'm gonna leave that.
Hey, he hoping.
Hopefully they walk us. He hoping. All right, my last one is the Monday night game that you had as the game of the week, Cliff. Vikings versus the Eagles. The Vikings are 2-point dogs on the road. In general, people give home team 3 points. That's the general way that they do those things. So they don't really think. So they don't really think that they're going to be all that much at a disadvantage. The Eagles showed that the ball can be moved efficiently and easily against them when they let the Lions make a 20-point some run and only lose by 3. They got to cover Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook. They ain't no player on the Lions like that.
It really ain't.
They really ain't. So I actually just really, really like the Vikings +2 as another dog here, especially considering Green Bay's defense is supposed to be better than the Eagles' defense. And they lit up Green Bay. I do think Snoozy makes a good point that Green Bay is generally bad in week 1 because they don't play in the preseason. We watched them get packed up by the Saints last year, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, the Saints packed them up last year, and then Green Bay went on a run after that. They get back ugly.
Yeah, don't count A-Rod out. You can never count A-Rod out, though.
Yeah, I'm not counting him out, but I felt like they'll get it together, but it's going to take a while. So I like these early games that for them to be a little bit not as good as they looked. The Lions do have an easy schedule, but they gonna make a lot of games so much closer than they should.
They are. I think they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight in every game they in, and you're not just gonna be able to walk them and be like, all right, we getting a dub. Just like last week, it's not gonna be like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have that fight.
Easy.
And that last one, we're still calling him MVP. Fucking the shoulders are the knees of the upper body.
That motherfucker be talking in riddles.
Pain everywhere. Just
wise.
Pain.
He be talking
just
with
pain
wisdom
everywhere. Just pain.
That man funny. That man
Instant
funny.
wisdom.
He is great. So that's the end of the 5 fly. Does anybody have any prop bets, game bets, etc. that they saw for this upcoming week that they like?
For that first game you mentioned, the under sounds pretty nice for the Patriots game.
Yo, that's facts. That's gonna be a game where both people try to win by defense.
Patriots Steelers, yeah.
Patriots Steelers. They're both gonna try to win by defense. And like try to control the clock. I have never seen a stat line like that either. That's facts. So I like that. Does anybody else have any other bets they're feeling?
I got a bet. I think while speaking on bounce back A-Rod, I think bounce back A-Rod throws for 300.
Ooh.
Bounce back A-Rod.
That's money talk right there. Stick talk.
Hey, you know how you feel about the Bears?
Yo,
what he say?
Yo, I heard what he said.
He got a point to prove after that L they took last week.
Yo, all I'm saying is fuck 12.
Hey, look, I don't like him. He the cowboy. He the cowboy killer, bro. You know I don't like A-Rod, but I can't count him out. He gonna come back next weekend.
We know he's gonna put the ball where it got to go. Are the receivers gonna be where they're supposed to be, and are they gonna catch it? Right? We know who he is, bro. Nice. We all know that. It's about what the supporting cast can do for him. Is the O-line gonna protect? Are the receivers gonna catch? Right.
Those guys coming back this week either.
It's crazy how him and Mahomes kind of both had that narrative of, they're losing their top receiver. What's going to happen at least through week 1. While Mahomes still does have Kelsey, it is pretty crazy that Mahomes seems to be fine and have all of his targets.
It's not crazy because the Packers got nobody and they drafted 2 young guys. The Chiefs went out, took Marquez Valdez-Scantling from the Packers, deep threat. Got Juju from the Steelers. Mm-hmm. All over the field, can line up anywhere. Great possession receiver, and then drafted a guy in Sky Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right. The Packers didn't really reload with veteran talent. The Chiefs did.
And I think the two different receivers also. Like I think A-Rod and Devontae Adams' connection was a lot about chemistry, and I think and trust. And I think with Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, that was more about speed. I mean, let's just be honest.
And
like,
just backyard football. They got trust,
like
but it's not trust like I know where you're gonna be. It's trust like if I put that bitch all the way over there, ain't no one else getting over there besides Tyreek.
And if you don't get it, ain't nobody else getting there.
Yeah,
that's
like,
what it is.
It's a different type of trust. Like A-Rod is about placement, timing. You got to be there when you're supposed to be there, etc. Right? And yes, A-Rod did end up having a crazy passer rating over the last 3 years against the NFC North, 111. But he threw his first pick against the NFC North in a wild.
What was that? I forgot that stat I sent.
Yeah, it was a
like
wild
past
stat.
Like 3 seasons or something.
Yeah,
crazy like
he had
that.
not thrown a single pick until the Vikings picked him off. We picked him off once, but they called it back as a penalty last year in the same game. He said he owned us, but whatever, yo. All right. And then Justin Fields made the same exact play he made. It got picked off, and they didn't call it back. I was heated, but we know what it is. We know what it is. Here's what I'll say. Where were we?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
30 years straight of Hall of Fame quarterback and only got 2 rings off. Yeah,
that is true for the Packers. That is a fact. So I do feel like the Chiefs really reset much better than the Packers did as far as losing your top guy. Like you can't replace the Tyreek Hill, but you can have 3 guys try to fill that role, especially if 2 of them are proven veterans.
And one of them is Travis Kelce.
Oh, well, no, Travis Kelce was always there. I mean, Sky Moore was the other one.
They should get Aaron Rodgers a Travis Kelce. You think they thought of that?
Nah, they said we're gonna give you these slight replacements, 2 rooks and an old head, and see what you can do with it.
Yeah, bro. Oh, they did get Sammy. I forgot about Sammy. But yeah, that wasn't it.
He wasn't week 1 Sammy neither.
He was not week 1 Sammy. I did the episode after week 1 Sammy, and he did not show up. All right, y'all. Let's keep it moving into our overreaction week 1 power rankings. We have taken our top 15 teams amongst all 4 of us, averaged them out to create a top 10 power rankings after what we have seen in week 1. There is 1 tie, but it's all the way up at 2 and 3. So we'll talk about that there. Let's start off with our honorable mention, because we've been talking a lot about them this episode. At number 11 was the Packers with a total of 43 points. They really look. I feel like they're only this high because we're just like, we believe the Packers should bounce back and Aaron Rodgers is him. And we are just banking on the legacy of this man to let them get anywhere near in our top 10 after what we saw.
Yeah, they didn't play like an honorary mention team, but I mean, I had them just outside, I think, like 13. Just because, I mean, you didn't play yourself into the power rankings, but just going off what we thought about the teams going into the season, you can't overreact too much to week 1. And like we've said in this episode earlier, they got blown out week 1 last year and they won 13 games. So I think you kind of just got to give them a little bit of a benefit of it out there, but they definitely didn't play like a top 10 team.
All right. I rock with that. I rock with that a lot. Number 12 was the Raiders, by the way, 3 points behind them, and they actually looked good in the game. They lost relatively overall as a team, not necessarily Derek Carr. Number 10, which is actually I had to say that as like, a preface to be like, I did watch the game. I saw what you did. Right? Number 10, our actual first team in the top 10 was the New Orleans Saints. Total score of 39. I mean, come back from behind victory where they looked amazing in the 4th quarter and looked like what we thought that offense could be now that Jameis has weapons, right? Has Michael Thomas back. He got 2 tuds, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jarvis Landry was the ultimate possession receiver for them.
Yep.
Like,
Scooped him on the waiver wire.
Yup. Like I like the way the Saints looked a lot. The Packers defense is definitely good. Anybody feel like the Saints should have been higher than 10?
They played like they were higher than 10 in the 4th quarter, but they played like the bottom 5 team for 75% of the game. So I feel like it was just a lot of things. Like Mike Thomas was slipping everywhere for the first 3 quarters, and then really seemed to actually get his footing on the turf in the 4th quarter and was actually able to make the cuts he needed to. So I think barely squeaking out one against Atlanta is why I had them at 10. But I think after they beat the Bucks this week, they're moving up.
All right.
I had him at 9.
Oh, okay, spicy. Call your shot.
Yeah.
You had him at 9?
Yeah, I had him at 9. Yeah.
Appreciate you for rocking with us, Snoozy.
Oh, definitely.
Hopefully
Appreciate
you come
bro.
through again next week. We really appreciate you and all your comments, bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to see who y'all had above them because I don't know. Like you said, they didn't play good, but we know they do have the talent and their defense is solid. It's week 1, so I feel like you can only get better from there. But yeah, I got them.
What's poppin', Toya? Shout out. How you doing?
Toya, what's up?
Appreciate you for stopping through. So I will say this. The one team that I had above them in my rankings was the Eagles at 9. So I had the Saints at 10, Eagles at 9.
Damn, I had the Eagles way up.
Bro, you can't let the Lions move the ball on you like that. And
bro,
I think that's more so about getting.
thing.
That's also about getting lax. Like again,
that's exactly it.
Again, these are week 1 power
overreactions.
Like, we exactly like this happening. Some of these teams could fall smooth off, and some may be right in the top 5 after 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You never know, but. Yeah, I agree. It's just I think the Eagles just slapped off at the end, thinking they had a game, and like I said, them Lions gonna fight. So you want to go ahead and be like, hey, we kick them feet up. They gonna be like, hey, watch out, man.
Game ain't
watch
over
out, man.
yet.
Put your feet down, man.
Yeah,
and I actually think
that they sweet.
I actually think that could be a good thing. Like the defense seeing, hey, you can't slack off. Like these teams will come back against you, and especially being the Lions, a team that's struggled the last few years. Like, I think it's a good wake-up call for the defense to have almost blown that game. Like, you got to play all 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Facts. 9. Our number 9 team, a total score of 36, was the Rams, which is crazy because a lot of us saw them winning the NFC. And this is a week 1 overreaction, right? And that's the whole point. Well, I think someone here said the Eagles. It might have been Sam, though. Yeah, so, but a lot of us here had the Rams winning the NFC. We have them in 9. They did not look good against the Bills.
And I ain't even have them in. I don't think I didn't.
It's like I didn't even have them up there.
I didn't have them in my top 15. Matthew Stafford looked so bad. So bad that
I still have him at 5.
Ooh. I mean,
the
defense is going to figure it out. Look, I just personally don't believe in Matthew Stafford. I think he got his last year, and it is over for that man.
I mean, that's tough. You coming out. We la-di-da-di out here. We celebrating our Super Bowl, getting our rings. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know y'all got the talent. That ain't the issue. Yeah. But at the same time, you come out here and you playing the damn Buffalo Bills week 1 while you trying to celebrate and get your rings.
That's a type Super Bowl game too. So
that's what I'm saying. That's tough week 1.
And they got showed up. Is my big thing is, were they missing anybody significant?
No.
Cam Akers was nowhere to be found, but he played.
The running game, you mean?
Allen Robinson was nowhere to be found, and
listen, Matthew Stafford. He might as well have been Casper because Stafford.
No one was hurt, but a lot of people were missing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I pray Cooper Kupp makes it through the season because if I'm a defense, I'm saying stop that guy. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Stop that guy because
that's it. Yeah.
That's the only person he's going to. If he is
20 times a game.
If he is scared or if he is in a pinch where he looked like he was all of the above on Thursday.
They were getting at him.
And Cooper was getting smacked, still holding the ball. But I'm telling you, that's a long season, dog. I also didn't know he was that big. I thought he was like 5'11". I think he's like 6'2". I also didn't know Cooper Kupp was that big. So He gonna take a. Well, I'm glad he's a little bigger than I thought he was because he gonna take a beating this year. He gonna get them. He gonna get that action. He gonna get all the targets, all the love. But if I'm a defense and I'm watching film from week 1, and I'm saying ain't nobody else out here. I think Van Jefferson was out. Okay, but I mean Van was like.
Okay.
I mean.
He's supposed to be guy 3 though.
You're not relying on him. I'm okay with him beating me. Then
that's what I'm saying. So on top of the offensive line and not having no receivers, I mean,
no run game either,
and no run game, bro. That I just don't. I don't believe it. It's definitely not a repeat year. It's damn sure not a repeat year.
That defense.
That is the week 1 overreaction right there. It's definitely.
I don't even think that's overreaction. They damn sure are not going to be in the Super Bowl this year.
They did not look like they didn't look like they had just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Jalen Ramsey, everybody give my man Diggs slack. He got his ass roasted all day long.
Burnt toast.
Granted, it was Diggs, but you're supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
What other corner y'all got ahead of him?
Yeah.
I mean,
they seem to play way more zone, and Jalen was actually playing zone instead of man. Like sometimes they'll play zone, but Jalen is not. You know, they did not do that. He was playing real zone, which might not be the move for them.
No.
All right, our number 8 team at 35, just 1 point less than the Rams, were the Bengals, even though they lost to the Steelers.
Yeah, I just think Joe Burrow is not going to have 5 turnovers again. So that's an anomaly, and they should have a long snapper at some point. They should have won that game. They should have won that game despite having 5 turnovers, which is crazy. You had a chance to win that game with an extra point despite having turned the ball over 5 times, which just shows you, like, imagine you cut that in half, even like 2 or 3, probably win that game by a lot. So they still have just so much. The O-line didn't look very improved, I will say.
But it looks like that when it's all new, because it's kind of all new for the most part, right?
Yeah,
the Chiefs' new O-line kind of looked like that early last year too, right? They revamped it after the Super Bowl that they lost. They started the season slow. So I feel like
that Steelers D-line ain't no slap either.
That's a fact, bro. TJ Watt was beating their ass so bad he tore his own pec. Like
he tore his pec jumping up and ripping interceptions down at the defensive line.
He's fucking different. The counter to this though, like we talking about the Bengals having 5 turnovers and losing by 3 in overtime after them having a chance to win it, then they had a chance to win it, then they lose it. I'm back to Mr. Trubisky is not going to be the starter. Mike Tomlin, there's no reason you get 5 turnovers and you are late in overtime trying to win a game. There is no reason.
Fact, bro.
Your man's what did I say earlier? I said he's going to do enough to keep the job, but he's going to do enough to get himself out the way. Or he's not going to do enough to get himself out the way. So we going to see.
Right. That's facts. Our number 7 total score 29. Another AFC North team were the Ravens. I feel like the Ravens relatively impressed, but they did against the Jets starting Joe Flacco. So we were like, you did what you were supposed to do.
Facts.
Right. And you ain't beat them by like 40 or nothing crazy. Right. Mm-hmm. So
pretty sure it was like 10-7 at half or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
they were ended 24 to
I turned that shit off the first half. I started watching the first quarter. I was like, let me put on another game.
I feel like the Ravens didn't necessarily impress, but they did what they were supposed to do. Devin Duvernay had a crazy day. Like
crazy, yeah.
Mark Andrews was frustrating just as a fantasy player, like especially in the first half, just didn't get – I think he had 0 maybe at halftime, but he ended with like 3-4 catches, something like that, 10 fantasy points. But it was kind of weird, like, to see him not really involved in the offense very much.
So someone made a very good point that made me kind of mad that I like had him ranked so high and drafted him over Travis Kelce, in which they were like 40 or something % of his points came in those 6 weeks with Tyler Huntley.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice either until someone pointed out to me, like the big bulk of his points came in those 6 Tyler Huntley games, not in the Lamar games. He was a great tight end because he's a great tight end with Lamar, but he went nuclear with Tyler. And I did not notice that, and maybe that's something that's going.
I gotta pause for a second. And you took Mark Andrews over Travis Kelce.
I did too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, Travis Kelce was off the board, but
I'm pretty sure I took him as the first tight end off the board in one league.
Man, that's a bold strategy, Cotton.
That you got to think about it. The same way that we were like, oh, what did they do to replace the Hollywood Brown loss?
Yeah,
That's
right.
True. That's true.
Who's going to get those? Who's going to get those targets?
He already got a lot, so
that's what I'm trying to say, Mark Andrews. But like, you would think the same thing for Tyreek Hill, but they got 3 dudes to try to replace that production for Tyreek.
Sure.
Right? They ain't get nobody to replace the production they lost in Mark Andrews. And fantasy is not really. First off, Bengals go crazy. That's facts. The Bengals are very good. And he said, not a fucking thing. We ain't getting no one. He said, we ain't getting no one to replace the deep speed of Hollywood. Devin Duvernay was looking like he was.
He's fast, though.
Hey, I said Duvernay was going to be the breakout there. That's my pick for their number 1 receiver, to be honest with you.
That's still tough because he's really a return guy for real.
I mean, those return dudes is fast. Keith's over here beefing in the chat with the one eye camera. Is he a Bengals fan?
Hey, they play my Cowboys this week. Y'all safe this week.
Yo, that was an 8.5 point spread, and I wanted to take it so bad, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay away from that shit. I don't like betting them high spreads for the favorites. It's just not my vibe. All right, number 6, we have the Ravens at the Eagles at 28 points, 1 point less than the Ravens. They're our number 6 ranked team. I feel like in the first half of that game, they looked like they would be like a top 5-ish team for us. The second half of that game, not so much. Now, y'all said they got last. I feel like we talked a lot about the Eagles and a little bit of how they let go of the reins in that game. So we'll move right into 5, and 5 is where we put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 22 points, right? That's the big gap. I liked that 5 for Tampa Bay, considering what they were able to do with their issues. Chris Godwin leaving early, the offensive line not being what you would like it to be. But as that game went on, Tom started getting real comfortable and started really dropping it on them. Like Mike Evans then started getting really into that, right? Julio. It was crazy.
I mean, you get a lot of reps because you're on the field a lot. I mean, it make it a little easier to, 3 and outs, 3 and outs on the other side.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, AJ is looking ridiculous. I did see Jordan Davis only played like 30 or less % of the snaps, but he was one of the highest graded people, right? And like, I just feel like the Bucs are going to get better and better with that offensive line as the year goes on, and they'll get their timing a little bit better. And of course, we all know Tom is going to get rid of the ball real fast, right? And that should help hide them a lot, even though the Saints are probably going to rock them this week. All right, number 4, we got the Vikings at number 19. I like 4 for the Vikings a lot. I've been beating the Vikings war chest all preseason. Even said they'd win the NFC North. Y'all were like, but the Packers. And Aaron Rodgers was like, so many people, prophesize my demise. And it never happens. Like, it's happening this year, my guy. The Vikings are taking the NFC North. Like, and I've been saying that consistently. So I really like the Vikings. They look great against the Packers. They looked great. All right. Anybody got any issues with the Vikings at 4? Y'all think they should have been higher, lower, etc.? Like,
I had them 1 spot lower. I had the Bucs above them just because that Bucs defense looks insane. But it's you gotta take your pick there on what you're prioritizing. Like the Vikings offense looked absolutely insane and their defense looked good. Mm-hmm. But the Bucs defense looked absolutely insane and their offense, absent the O-line problems, looked solid after they got it going too. So I had the Bucs a little bit higher, but I'm not mad at it. I think honestly you could give or take where you have those 2 ranked.
Okay.
I had them at 3.
Okay. Ooh. So
I did too.
Yeah. Okay. You did too?
I had them at 3.
All right. So I'm gonna tell y'all who our 2 and 3 is because they're tied at 11 points. It's the Chargers and the Chiefs. You each had the Vikings at 3. Which of the Chargers or the Chiefs did you put the Vikings over?
I had the Chargers at 2, Chiefs at 4.
Okay.
I had the Chargers at 4, Chiefs at 2. I had the Vikings at 6.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you said you had them in 3. My bad.
No, I got the Bucks at 3.
Bucks at 3. Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Facts. All right, that's cleared up. All right, so we got the Chargers and Chiefs at 11, all tied up, right? I guess we got to break that tie for who y'all put in first here. Who gets our 2 spot? Who gets our 3 spot? All right, everybody can just do a vote real quick. Sam, who you got?
I got the Chiefs at 2.
All right, T.O.
Yeah, I got Chiefs too as well.
All right.
I got the Chargers.
You got the Chargers. Look, I technically had the Chargers too, which is probably how we got to this tie of it, right?
Hey, where Keith at? Keith, break the tie.
Yo, Keith, break the tie, Keith. Yo, Keith said Chargers at 2. He said Chargers at 2. Keith braced the tie.
Wait, he said Chiefs too. Also, he said both.
Wait, what? He said Chiefs at 1. All right, so the tie would go.
Oh, okay.
The tie would go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs would be our number 2 team. The Chargers would be our number 3 team. The reason why
we know who number 1.
Yeah, we all know who number 1 is. They beat the brakes off the Rams. The Bills are our number 1 team. They beat the brakes off the Rams. It wasn't even close. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, bro. Honestly, the only reason why I put the Chargers over the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs had a very impressive outing, is I feel like the Chargers' opponent was significantly better.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I let the Chargers overtake the Chiefs, because the Chargers beat a significantly better team than the Chiefs did. So even though the Chiefs
they ain't play no slapdick though. They played the Cardinals, who should be good.
They ain't look good.
They played like slapdicks.
Yeah, they did.
Last year they had the hottest start.
They end the team. They folded. And look, usually they fold once D-Hop get hurt though. Those things kind of correlate, and they didn't start with D-Hop, right?
Okay.
So
Kyler looking like a badass little kid out there running the ball.
Here come Keith with the Keith is gonna pop up with the short jokes again. You know it, right? Keith said Bills, Chiefs, Vikings, Bucks, Chargers as his top 5. So he definitely took the Chiefs over the Chargers.
I think it's just the Chargers. I think it's just the Chargers' time. Like, I just think it's time. Like, they're getting it together. Missed the playoffs. They went and got everything. They went and said, we going all in.
But Keenan hurt his hamstring, and that
they did. But everything. But the young boy Carter showed up. You still got Mike Williams, who was really quiet. Everett, that touchdown to Everett was tough. As hell.
I think
Everett was dope.
I think Everett's going to be nice. I think Everett's going to be real nice for them because he did so well he was on the Seahawks, right? And the Seahawks barely passed the ball like that.
Right.
Because you know how Pete likes to play the game, right? He going to be in a pass-happy offense. The targets will be flying for boy. I picked him up as my second tight end in a ton of leagues because of that.
He could be a 1, to be honest with you. He could sneak and be a 1 if you don't got like a Waller or Kelsey. I
got Waller, Kelsey, or
So he's definitely a solid. He's a solid 2.
Waller, Kelsey, or Andrews in every league. I got one of them in every league.
Yeah,
I prioritize that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, but they got a lot of weapons. I mean, Eckler didn't even go crazy, and they
did bad.
They was all pretty consistent. Like he didn't do. I don't think he did. Did he have double digits?
He probably had double digits
10
points, but
11.
it was literally 10. Like
So I'm saying like they were so bad because I think he spread the ball around to so many people. Like it was very similar to Mahomes. It's like as far as getting the ball around, especially when Keenan Allen went down, he didn't have a choice. And then how was Mike Williams only ended up with like a catch or 2?
But that's his game. He's gonna get a couple catches, and it's either gonna be like a 75-yard bomb because that's who he is, and that's gonna make his numbers look crazy, or it's not, and he's gonna look bad. He's a big boomer bust guy.
Yeah,
he's not the guy that gets like 10 catches a game.
He should now.
Somebody gonna have to step up. I mean, I don't know. Somebody gonna have to step up. Especially this is a big game for real. This is really, in my opinion, the toughest 2 teams in the division as we just talked about rankings. So
All right, let's wrap up with the final segment of the show, the heart of the show, Ballers Bouquet. Too often in the media, people only want to focus on the negative and salacious things athletes do. Here, we like to make a change. So this week's Ballers Bouquet goes to Shaq Leonard of the Colts for his work through his Maniac Foundation. This year at the Colts Stadium, Lucas Oil Stadium, Shaquille is one of two players that have worked with the team stadium chefs to put out a special themed food item that changes each home game based off whoever they're playing. So if they're playing Chicago, they might do a play on the Chicago hot dog or the Chicago pizza or whatever for a burger, and they're calling them the Maniac Burgers. The proceeds for each of these burgers sold at the stadium goes to his Maniac Foundation, an organization that he started with his wife, Kayla, to serve families of need and other charitable organizations. Here are some huge things that they have done just in this year through that foundation. They donated $15,000 to Soul Shine, who provided custom caskets for each victim in the Uvalde shooting. Basically, they talk to their parents, find out like their personalities, etc., and create a custom casket for them based off like who they are to show their personality there. And they donated them, got all those caskets done for free for all the victims of the shooting. They also launched a mental health hotline for people suffering from general mental illness, suicidal thoughts, sexual and domestic abuse, substance abuse, etc. So these proceeds from buying these burgers and any Colts home game this season will go to support initiatives just like these, and that's why Shaq Leonard gets this week's Ballers Bouquet. All right, y'all, that is it for episode 84. Thank you for everybody that came through, rocked with us, popped up in the chat. Y'all were lively today. I was really fucking with it. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with y'all. So wherever you were listening, if it was Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, like anywhere, if you're listening later on the audio platforms, you can always catch us live every single Wednesday at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern, and can interact with us live as well. We appreciate all of y'all, and we cannot wait to get you all. Hold on, Keith just showed up. What's wrong with this? I was gonna say we can't wait to let y'all.
You've been in the chat the whole time. You gonna pop up?
H show up, bro.
I had to.
Yeah, we was getting busy today. You got some FOMO. We gonna get you in next week though, right?
Yeah, I heard you were talking crazy about.
I stay talking crazy, bro.
Like,
all right, so since we got you right now, are you gonna take that? Let's set up official on the airwaves.
Live on wax now.
Live on wax. Thank you, bro. Everybody else been though. I said Keith was gonna back out this bet.
Bro, here, word to my fucking grandpa Terrence, didn't I only say the $40 bet? And Ant was like, yo, let's do the other one. And I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you know.
You said I'm gonna let you know, even though you said you guarantee we can't win 4 games. Why are you doing this, my guy?
What the hell you got? What you got around his neck?
Yo, appreciate you, Toya. Appreciate you. Thank you. We love having you.
I can't take that bet.
Of course you can't take that bet. Yeah.
If y'all took an L that week one, he'd be like,
yeah. He would have did it. This bitch. You want to push it to 5? What's up?
I got my bet.
Scary. You scary, yo.
This man saying scary like they gonna make the playoffs. Okay,
bro. You said we couldn't win 4 games.
I got the bet.
You said it with your whole chest. You looked at the schedule and with your whole chest said we gonna win 3, maybe 4 games. And you were like, and I can't even see that.
I got the bet with the Jets game, remember?
Ain't nobody tell you ain't had that one. I'm just saying you looked at us.
Oh yeah, Cherish, he feeling good after that little water win. He said,
bro, I tried to bet you before week 1, and I was talking good shit before week 1. Where's the lie? Everybody here was witness, right? I was talking my shit before week 1, right?
Hey, Keith, you gonna barbecue a meal, dude?
Hey, look. If we being honest, y'all both, the Ravens ain't played nobody in week 1 either, though. So
yeah, no, our matchup ain't gonna be till next week. This week against the Dolphins. I'm gonna be honest. Dolphins ran that fucking that little. It's not a cover zero.
They was after his ass last time.
Yeah, it was like they ran a cover zero, but like the dude that would run in would fall back in the coverage. So I don't know what.
Javon Holland was playing games with Lamar.
Yeah, his ass was falling in the coverage, blitzing, falling back in the coverage. Like it was like they were playing man on the outside and just letting him run up to the line and then decide at the last minute if he was.
I think he's gonna get the same thing because y'all lost the receiver. Yeah, I think you're gonna get the same thing. With those corners they got. If
they have to figure out a way to run the short routes against that, because if they blitz you like that, there's a way to get open. You know what I mean? There's only going to be Xavier Howard, Brian Jones is out, but the rookie they got is pretty good. But between Javon Hollins, I'm going to assume he's either going to spy and blitz Lamar, or he's picking up Mark Andrews. And if he's picking up Mark Andrews, I'm gonna take advantage of that because I'm not going to try Xavier Howard too many times. So if you can find some routes
Bateman or Duvernay, I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Duvernay might get the mismatch. Honestly, if Javon is on Mark Andrews, I put Mark in the slot out wide and just run different routes, intermediate routes for him to get open. You know, because if you blitz, the short routes is open.
Gotta have quick game. Gotta have check down. Gotta have quick game because they gonna definitely blitz his ass because they know they can't let him sit back there. I don't think many teams fear Lamar throwing the ball as much as they fear him running the ball, obviously.
Well, I think the Jets tried that too, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, granted, it's the Jets. Like, we know the Jets aren't good.
Yeah, I'm about to say they defense ain't Miami.
No, but the good thing about the Jets are like in this weird purgatory. Like, their defensive line is really good. Like, their defensive line, if you look at it on paper, is pretty good. But everything else, other than Sauce Gardner, doesn't look like anything. You know what I mean? You're like, what is this? So I feel like their defense, I take their defensive line over Miami's D line for sure. Like I could say that like confident. So like, yeah, for sure. I'd take the Jets D line over the Dolphins. The Dolphins got Cameron Wilkins, Jalen Phillips, Melvin Ingram, but he's old. You know what I mean? Like if you talk about Melvin Ingram from like a couple years ago, then I might just take the Dolphins. But I mean, they got.
But everything else though, like just D line.
Yeah, everything else. But I'm saying like when you run zero blitz. Your linemen, if they could push one dude off, they're already at an advantage, you know. So that's why I think you can't put Mark on the line because if you put Mark on the line, they're just gonna hit him before he can get off on his route. They're gonna be like, all right, bro, we're just gonna keep bumping you the whole way. You're not gonna be able to run the route. Maybe they unleash Isaiah Likely. That's the only thing I could think because he's a mismatch too.
I'm waiting for it. They said he was gonna be the number 3.
Yeah, I mean he dropped like 3 balls. Granted. One of them, I wouldn't even have tried to catch that Lamar threw to him. I don't even blame him. Lamar threw one that was deadly at him. I was like, bro, I wouldn't even have tried to catch that.
He gonna be a problem. He gonna be the tight end that you flex out in that slot spot. Because
before we end it, y'all gotta what we doing? What we doing?
Oh, I ain't doing that damn bet.
He's scary, bro. You know he's scary. He talked all that shit just to be
scary. If you can beat me at a race, I'll do that bet right now. You can beat me at a 45.
He said, "Hey, I ain't listening to your ass though."
He's scary, bro. Like I've been telling you, he been scary, so I ain't even worried about him.
I ain't taking it. You can have that. You win.
I know I can have it. I told him you was gonna do that.
Ain't trying to punk me in the like. Just
I ain't trying to punk you, bro. You punking yourself. Like how you gonna talk all that shit and then not put the money up on it?
I already got my bets placed for the year.
You about to say you ain't have it?
Oh no, I got it. I got it.
If you got it, then put it up. What's up?
I'm a grown man, grown college student. We got responsibilities.
All right, go ahead and have your responsibilities, Joe. Let's wrap this one up. We are almost at the 1:30 mark. Always, as I was saying, we appreciate everybody that came through, stopped by, hung out with us. We would love to see y'all again next week. We're going to have Keith back with us, so we're going to be all 5 in full force, and we will catch you again next Wednesday.
The Fly Route Pod.